which was lacking in me in my LRD, I was not having fun while solving them. Like I was solving them just for the sake of cat. Like I want to clear this section. But when I saw you during classes solving, I thought like it is your way of solving was out of fun. Like you used to solve sets for fun. And I thought I should also try to include this habit in my practice. Like solve this for fun. We'll see later whether we'll clear the cutoffs or not.
Hi everyone. We have with us Yash Pandey out here with us. He is converted IIM Ahmedabad. So let's talk to him and try to figure out how did he go about preparing and what inputs we can take from him regarding preparation. So Yash is a pass out of IIT Roorkee. He is a 2019 batch, worked for 3+ years. He wrote CAT in 2020, he scored 98 percentile. Again, he wrote a CAT in this year, 22, and scored 99.4 percentile. Converted Ahmedabad. So let's look at him and then try to figure it out. What was the preparation plan? How did it go about it? Yeah, Yash, congratulations. So, how do you feel right now that you converted Ahmedabad? So, what
Yeah,
were your
sure.
expectations?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. It was surreal. Like when I saw the results, because I being from a GEM category, general engineer male, and 99.40 percentile. So I was like my interview went fine, but as I heard from people, like usually converting at this percentile was difficult. So like I was not much hopeful, yeah. But when the results came, it was a very surreal experience, to say the least. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with your CAT journey. So, when did you start your CAT preparation and how did you go about it in terms of your first attempt?
Yeah. So in 2020, I decided to give CAT in around August end. And so I was in 2020, so I started very late. I started in August 2020. And I realized like I was more focused on completing syllabus. So what happened like August, September, I was busy like focusing on my fundamentals, clearing those fundamentals. And I started mocks very late. Gave my first mock in October, mid-October, if to be precise. So like I was not able to prepare from the mock side of things. I was more focused on finishing syllabus and let me finish syllabus, then I'll start giving mocks. And I thought I got very late. And so I was for English I was just reading. For VRC I used to read articles. And for LRD I was not able to practice much. Like I did not have much time, so I did not clear cutoff for LRD in 2020. And for maths, like I had like during my preparation for JEE and IIT Roorkee, so I thought like I was good at it. I just needed a bit more practice there. So I felt like I was not much mocks prep based focus there, and then LRD I was not able to do much practice.
So, what do you think you could have changed in your preparation in the first attempt that could have helped you?
Like definitely number one would be like to start giving mocks a bit earlier, so that I have more time to like test various strategies in mocks. So that is the first one that I feel. And secondly, like more practice for LRDA if I have done.
Okay.
So these two things I wanted to, if I would want to change during that. Yeah.
So, how did you plan your second attempt? In some way, how did you plan? When did you start preparing? And
Mhm. So in 2021, I was I used to do trading, so I was focused on that during that entire year. So I did not plan to give CAT in 2021. In 2022, I realized like I giving CAT again like is the right thing for me in my career, going forward. So in 2022, I started I started reading around March. So like reading usually takes habit. It doesn't come in last 2 3 months if I want. So I again started reading articles. And so because the ma'am and you told like for VRC the only thing that helps is reading, and I also realized that I used to do like various practice of this para jumble or sentence and these type of questions like on weekends. But major focus was on reading for VRC from around March this year. For LRDA also, like I used to solve previous mock, all the various mock classes. I used to practice DLR sets as recommended by you. And the major thing I saw like uh, which was lacking in me in my LRDA, I was not having fun while solving them. Like I was solving them just for the sake of cat. Like I want to clear this section. But when I saw you during classes solving, I thought like it is your way of solving was out of fun. Like you used to solve sets for fun. And I thought I should also try to include this habit in my practice. Like solve this for fun. Let's see. We'll see later whether we'll clear the cutoffs or not. So that was the major attitude change I feel in LRD for this year. So I started around practicing around April, May, the previous mock sets. And yeah, so I started March, April, I started. And for maths, I knew I was good at it. So I used to practice like on weekends. If I get some time, I used to solve like 2 to 3 hours at a stretch so that I develop the stamina to solve QA section after like 2 sections in the CAT. Yeah.
So you are working. So how was your day? I mean, if you look at a regular day, so
Yeah.
how do you plan your day preparation?
Yeah. So my office time is usually 11 to 7, 11 to 8. So before 11, I used to finish my reading things. Like I used to finish like reading at least 2 A1 articles by before the office starts, and doing like 2 3 sets before 11. And post my 8, like after office, I used to practice maths because I have to develop that habit of solving maths after I'm tired. Like if I am fresh, I can do maths very easily, but I have to do QA section after 2 sections in the CAT. So I used to practice maths after my office hours. And before office, I used to do reading and do 2 3 sets LRDI. That was my schedule, sir. And on weekends, like we had classes with you. So in the evening, we used to solve. I used to solve during that time also.
So what is the broad plan? So you started in April, May. So
Yeah.
when did you plan to complete your syllabus and when did you start with your mocks?
Like in 2020, I realized like completing syllabus in CAT is a very big myth. Like you don't feel any time in your journey that now I'm complete. Like now I know everything in syllabus. So I knew like I feel CAT is more of a rhythm based paper. Like if you are in good rhythm, you will be able to do well. If you're not, if you're out of rhythm, like then there's no point. So this year I was not focused much more on completing syllabus. So, but like being from an engineer background, so I thought my maths fundamentals are good, and I completed those around May. Like all the topics, at least 15 to 20 good questions I was able to do by May for all the maths topics. And LRDI, like there is no such syllabus. It's only practice that we have to do regularly. And same for English, there is no syllabus. So only for maths, I feel by May I was able to complete the fundamentals for all the topics. Yeah. And from June onwards, only I used to only give mocks. Like I had given around 50 plus mocks, so I was mostly focused on mocks only.
Okay. Were there any difficult phases in your preparation time, like where you fell down or where you and how did you work on it?
Like in 2020, if I remember, like I used to score very bad in mocks. Like, and as I told, I started a bit late, and I panicked a bit in 2020. So I was not able to improve much. But fortunately, this year in my first mock only, I scored very good marks. Like I scored 19.9 percentile, and I feel I just became confident because of that mock score. So in that 2 3 months after my first mock, I used to perform very good. Like I was scoring very good in mocks, like around 99.5, 19.4 I in the various mock classes. But then like again the score stagnated, and so during that September month, if I remember correctly. But again, like we can't do anything with that. We have to do our practice every day. Like it will improve organically. Like that thing is not in our hands. So I feel as told by you and ma'am also, like we have to just do our practice and like things will improve. So like it was mostly like trying out new strategy in mocks. I was able to like increase my scores in the end.
Okay. On the cat day or just before the cat, just start just before the cat. So did you do anything
Mhm.
special with regards to prep
Mhm.
or anything that you did maybe a week before the cat or
Mhm.
the day before the cat?
Like if I remember, I didn't do anything before the one day before CAT. Like I was just in my mind, I was simulating how I would deal with the various situations if I face. Like if it does not go better, if one section doesn't go well, I was saying like, and don't worry, there will be next section in which able to cover up. So the day before CAT, I was just simulating the various situations. What would I get on the D day? On the D day, like my slot was third. So there were two slots before me. And again, like there was not much pattern change, but in DILR there was one major change. Like there were 5 questions and 4 sets of 4 sets. But in 2021, in 2020 and 2021, it used to be like 4-6 combination, 2 sets of 4 and 2 sets of 6. Now, when I saw that change, like until now, like my strategy was in LRD was I used to start with one of the 4 question sets and then go into 1 6 question sets. So if in the LRD, the major thing is picking a set. So my strategy was usually there was a 50% probability that I would be correct or wrong, like in the previous. But now there is a 25% probability, like all 4 sets are similar. And the feedback of first and second slot was like the sets are very lengthy this year. Like you have to give 15 to 20 minutes because if you give 5 to 10 minutes, you won't be able to solve it. And you need to have that conviction. If you give 15 minutes, you will be able to solve it. So and they said like even solving one set, you would be good to go. The feedback that I received from people and you as well, like you also gave us that feedback. Like so, so my strategy was like I selected 2 sets out of 4 in DILR, and that DI set which I missed once in slot 3 there was a DI set, and that was a sitter set. But the diagrams were such like I thought like I won't attempt this set. Like that was a blunder that I did. That should not be done by anybody. So I ignored that set and I was going through the other 2 3 sets. I selected 2 out of the remaining 3 sets, and I was focused on entirely on that. So in first around 50, so in that selection I think I gave around 5 to 6 minutes. Now only 35 minutes remain. I pick up the first set and I'm into that set for 12 14 minutes, and I haven't done any. And now I start remembering my 2020. And now 22 minutes have passed, 18 minutes left, I see on the timer, and I remember my 2020. Now I go to the second set, which I selected. Thankfully, I was able to do it, and around 5 6 minutes remain. Still, I did not go to that DI set, and I kept on solving the first one, which I couldn't. And yeah, then the timer got over, and I was able to solve only one set there. And then again in maths, it was like I got 99.8 in maths. My DILR was 96 percentile, and my English VRC it was 98 percentile. Thankfully, I was able to maintain my composure in the QA section, and I scored good there. Yeah, and my overall, like as you told, was 99.40. So yeah, this was my D-Day experience.
Any tips for preparation for each of these sections? So any tips that you can give, like what
Mhm.
students do in verbal,
Mhm.
mathematics, and DLI during preparation?
VARC, I feel it is only a reading game. Like if you are able to read good and able to comprehend at your own reading speed, don't try to increase it inorganically. Let it increase organically. Like that thing, I was very clear from the start. Like uh, the only thing that I'll focus in VRC is reading, and and some often I'll practice the various type of questions like para summary, jumble, and odd sentences. So my VRC strategy was simple. As I told before office, I used to finish 2 3 articles on A on essays, and that's it. And then in the weekends, I used to do for VRC practice for various questions like various other types. For LRDI, again like practicing from mocks and giving as much sectionals in LRD as possible. So I used to solve in before in my CAT prep 2 sets out of 4 in every mock, but again, on D-Day, as I told, I was able to solve only one. For LRDA, this was the only thing. The LRDA set practice and maintaining a timer while solving it, having a sense of time. Because if I have enough time, I will solve. But during the exam, I don't have like an hour to solve a set. So it was much more time focus and timer. I used to set timers to solve the DILR sets. Initially, I was not setting timers. I was just enjoying the process of solving it. But later, like 2 3 months before that, I started timing it. And for maths, again, like I used to practice maths only when I'm tired. Like only when I'm tired, I used to solve maths only then. And whenever I used to solve for 2 to 3 hours at a stretch. Like so, there was no break in that. It was not like 30 minutes I would solve maths. Whenever I used to solve maths, I used to solve it for 2 to 3 hours at a stretch, just to develop the stamina. And yeah, so this was my simple strategy. Like and just giving mocks and taking feedback and discussing with other friends. we made a group for like discussing mocks. That discussion also helped.
Okay, tell me, how did you form that? You formed a group. What do you discuss in the group? I mean, a lot of people are confused
Mhm.
regarding, okay, if I form a group, what do I do with a group? So how did your group try and prepare with regards to, discuss the mocks or prepare?
Mhm. Like I feel there is a competitive spirit like in a group when a group is formed for giving mocks, there is a very good friendly competition. I feel like everybody used to say like this Friday we all are giving mocks, and results usually come by Monday for that mock, and then everybody would put in their marks, and we used to discuss while on the Zoom meeting what went well. If there's not much time, we will discuss on the chat only, like which section, like let's say somebody scored good in DLR, we will ask like what was your approach when you saw this set, what did you think, whether should I pick this set or not, like what was your order of picking up sets. So, and similarly I was good at math, so I used to share my strategies, like how I go about it solving QA. So yeah, so we used to discuss whoever has scored good in any section, we will ask him what was your approach while solving it. That was the way.
How big was the group?
It was a small group, 5 to 6 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any last minute tips to the student, or any last minute words, last words that you want to know?
Uh, like I think the preparation should be like fun, like out of fun one should prepare, because kite is a very random thing. Like however practice you do, like anything can happen on the D-Day, but if you have that attitude of enjoying while solving, I think anybody will be able to do good. Yeah, only in this thing, like and you can't substitute practice, you have to do practice. And for each section that I mentioned, solve QA only when you're tired. Like there's no point solving QA when you're fresh. And LRDA as much practice as you can do. And for English, the only thing is reading. How much stamina again, you have to read 2 to 3 articles at a stretch, and let your speed grow organically. Don't try to force that increase in your speed. Yeah, these would be the individual sections, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Again, congratulations again, Yash. All the best for your journey at IIM Ahmedabad.
Sure, thank
Thanks
you.
for giving your valuable words. I'm sure
Sure,
students will be finding it useful.
sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure.